I watched all 2 hours of opening night live, so you don't have to. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Calc Soups here, and today is Friday, August 26th, and that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Like I said, there was a lot, as is typical for a Jeff Keighley presentation. It was a little bit longer than we expect with some of the other first parties. So this one was about 2 hours long. It seemed like a longer than that because I stretched it out over the course of 2 days. I have enough time to watch it all at once, but I did get through it. And I have some thoughts on a lot of the games that were announced or talked about there. I won't cover all the games that were talked about there, but I will start off with, I'll condense it down to just kind of the things that caught my eye. First of which was the first game they talked about, Everywhere. This just seemed, I didn't know quite what to make of this game. At first I just thought it was like a concept. They were just kind of talking about, you can do anything, and like, they never kind of elaborated on like what anything meant, but they were just like, you can do anything, and there's this thing you can do, and this thing that you do, and there was just like a jump cut of a bunch of like, you can race, and then there was like a third-person action scene, and then there was like something else going on, and so I didn't know, this is the first time I'd ever seen it, so I didn't quite know what to make of it, and then they even brought on like a game director to just kind of continue to reiterate like, you can do anything, it's supposed to revolutionize gaming, and I just really didn't know what to make of it. So it just kind of seemed like there wasn't any focus to the game. I didn't know what to make of it, and anytime I hear like, we're gonna revolutionize gaming, and like, this in this game you can do anything, like, those are kind of meaningless statements to me. I'd rather kind of be a little bit more focused and tell me what I can or can't do in the game. If you don't have any gameplay, then just kind of like really illustrate what the character is going to be doing. If I create my own character, just kind of talk about the parts that you do know. But otherwise, it just kind of like a really big promise. I didn't know if it was like a Dreams clone or like a Roblox clone where you can kind of do whatever you want, or like make your own game within the game frame set. So yeah, I didn't know. I'd never heard of the game before. Although a lot of the press was talking about like, we've seen this before, I don't remember it, and this just seemed like I didn't know what to make of it, so just kind of caught my eye in that way, which was kind of negative. So if you have any more information about Everywhere, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. So that one kind of threw me off, and then I was just kind of sitting there twiddling my thumbs until I heard Fear. Fear is the mind killer, and I just like immediately snapped over, and I was very excited because as a giant Dune fan, those are very famous words for the litany against fear in my mind. So we got just a CG trailer, and kind of what the game's genre was. Dune Awakening is going to be a survival MMO. I don't know if this is gonna be like Rust theme. It's gonna be like Rust, where like you get a bunch of people on a server, and you're just trying to like run around Arrakis and survive. I was kind of put off by the MMO aspect. I hope I can get like a dedicated server that I can play with just my friends, where we're just trying to survive and not get eaten by sandworms. So it's gonna be a while before we see this, but I'm really looking forward to it as a huge Dune fan, and I'm glad that Dune is kind of in the zeitgeist and making its way into games. I even like Dune Spice Wars and play it rather regularly. Then there was PlayStation. PlayStation announced their version of the Xbox Pro controller, or the Xbox Elite controller 2. So PlayStation is doing their own Elite controller with programmable buttons, called the DualSense Edge. It looked kind of dark in the trailer, so I hope it's black. I have a couple of pearly white controllers right now, and I really like a dark one. I like having black controllers. So yeah, I think it's a really cool thing. I knew I had the PlayStation butt plug, or what I call the PlayStation butt plug, the thing that I plugged in the bottom and gave you a couple of extra buttons for your PlayStation 4 controller. Didn't really think like that was good enough, but now that they're kind of like investing and making a really cool DualSense, if it has all the DualSense features, then I could really see this kind of popping off. So looking forward to the DualSense Edge. Got to see a little bit more Hogwarts Legacy. We got to see the kind of the darker side, so you can play as like a Slytherin or a darker character. So that should be really fun. And just like all the kind of stuff that you get into. It was also had a large emphasis on like two characters running around. So I'm wondering if like you have kind of a best friend you're running around with in the game, and then they like slowly turn into your rival. So that's just kind of what I got out of it. But they showed like undead walking around and big kind of monsters. So yeah, really kind of looking forward to seeing more with Hogwarts Legacy. Gotham Knights got moved forward. Interesting. This is kind of the year of delays, so it's interesting to see a game move forward 4 days. I don't know what they're avoiding or trying to miss, but yeah, Gotham Knights is now releasing on October 21st rather than 25th. So yeah, get to play as one of the Bat family sometime sooner, or just a couple more days sooner. So looking forward to that. They had Randy Pitchford come out and talk about the new Borderlands game that's kind of been spoiled already, or not spoiled, but it leaked already. But new Tales from the Borderlands. As someone whose favorite Telltale game and Borderlands game is both Tales from the Borderlands, I'm excited to see new Tales from the Borderlands. Also coming out on October 21st, so that should be interesting. But I'll have to choose between those two. But more like if I have a co-op partner, I'll be playing Gotham Knights, and if I don't, I'll be playing Tales from the Borderlands. But yeah, really excited for Tales from the Borderlands. Like I said, the original Tales from the Borderlands is my favorite Telltale game and my favorite Borderlands game, which is pretty high praise in my eyes. I got to see a really weird trailer, or we got to see a really weird trailer for what didn't quite look like Destiny 2, because they had people jumping out of like skyscrapers and stuff. Didn't really quite understand what I was looking at, but everybody kind of had green powers. So I think we've got confirmation that there's going to be a fourth element. I think I've already heard that it's called Poison. And yeah, you're going to have all new abilities. Like it looked like the hunter gets like a scorpion get over here like chain hook. And yeah, and that's launching on February 23rd of next year. So and a lot of Destiny content is free right now. So a couple of my friends are trying to like pull people back in. Adding a fourth element is kind of what I was waiting for in Destiny 2, so we'll see if this is enough to kind of entice me back in. I'm still waiting on Destiny 3, just because I want to start where everybody else starts. There's people who are already way ahead of me, and that kind of intimidates me, and there's a lot of content to get through. But I was excited to see Destiny 2 Lightfall coming next year. There was as someone who loves tabletop strategy games, I was really excited to see Moonbreaker. I believe it was an Obsidian game. I forget. I think they were the developers. But it's a tabletop strategy game, and I like my turn-based tabletop strategy games. You can paint the models in it. But yeah, it was just kind of like an arena battler, but you get your own you have your own little faction, and you're competing against other factions. Little Blood Bowl-esque, but more sci-fi and but same kind of arena. And then you can paint up the models. So I'm really excited to kind of see how detailed the model painter can get as someone who used to paint miniatures. So pretty excited about that, bringing the tabletop miniatures to the digital space. I've kind of always been pretty semi-positive on High on Life, and we got to see Justin Roiland's new first-person shooter with the talking guns. Got to see a whole boss battle, so a lot of more gameplay. It looks like they're kind of stretching out things you can do in it. There was like a grappling hook that you like hop around with. So it looks like you can do a lot of crazy things in High on Life. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. Another kind of zany first-person shooter to break me out of the monotony of like war simulator shooters. So kind of excited for taking it a little bit easier in first-person shooters. Speaking of Telltale, there was a lot of details on Telltale Expanse, like getting the main character. I have tried getting into Expanse multiple times, but just haven't really gotten in. Couldn't get past season 1. But maybe Telltale Expanse is the way for me to engage with the IP. So I'm excited for it. I love Telltale games, and I'm glad that they're branching out and they've got more IPs coming along with Wolf Among Us and stuff like that. So really looking forward to Telltale Expanse. And last but not least, the piece de la resistance at Gamescom was the revival, bringing it back from the dead, or undead as it might be. Dead Island 2 got an official release date of February 3rd of next year. So pretty exciting stuff. I don't even know how long it's been. At least 10 years since we saw like the trailer of the dude running down the boardwalk and like people turning undead behind him. Like, that was a classic trailer from a long time ago. So much so that like Goat Simulator 3, I think, parodied it at Summer Games Fest. So yeah, so Dead Island 2, we got to see some gameplay, which is really nice. I didn't play the first one, but I just kind of really liked it. I'm looking for kind of a cool new kind of first person zombie game. So, and something we've all been kind of waiting for quite some time. So yeah, it was really exciting to see Dead Island 2 as kind of the capstone of one night opening night live. I just think if it's one night, but it's opening night. Opening night live, ONL. There was a lot of other games talked about at and announced at opening night live. If you feel I forgot any, feel free to leave a comment down below about some of the games that I forgot to talk about. We can talk about it down there. Moving right along, something that kind of got overshadowed by opening night live was the launch of a new game. Saints Row launched this week, and I really didn't see anything about it. I had to kind of really dig to find information on this. Saints Row is currently at a 63 Metacritic, so for better or worse, people aren't talking about it very much. So yeah, Saints Row is not really doing well. The reviews I read kind of have it at the self-serious tone doesn't really jive well with the with just kind of what people liked about Saints Row, about the parody and satirical nature of it, kind of not taking itself too seriously. Now this one's a more serious reboot, still kind of colorful, but the articles I read were just saying that maybe it's a little bit too self-serious, so that's why it's got a little bit of a lower score. I'd be interested, give it some time to see kind of what they kind of patch in, if that kind of brings up the score. But for now, I actually never played any of the Saints Row games, so I don't have any kind of attachment to the older IP. So maybe I can hop into this one and pick it up and be just fine with it. Yeah, but sad to see that Saints Row, one of the beacons of this year that kind of stuck to this year, got and was recently delayed, or was delayed to here. It was supposed to come out in the first half of the year, but they took a few more months. But with a 63 Metacritic, I think a lot of people might pass on it. It's unfortunate. Moving right along, we got a confirmed release date for the new Dark Pictures anthology game. So we were all curious about Supermassive. They released the Quarry earlier this year, and we were concerned about, or at least I was concerned about, the Dark Picture anthology and what that meant. If they got multiple teams up and running, it seems like they do, because Devil in Me, which takes place at the Chicago World's Fair Murder Hotel of H.H. Holmes, it launches on November 18th. So, a little bit after spooky scary time. I think November is still a good time to get some scares in, so I'm really looking forward to sitting down and playing this with my friends, the couch co-op style like we just did for the Quarry. So I'm really looking forward to that. Total War Warhammer 3 had a big update this week. I've already started to play a new campaign with my friends, where they are doing the Immortal Empires campaign. So they are bringing in all the races, all the factions, all the leaders from the previous two Warhammer games, and it requires you to have all the DLCs from those. But they're bringing them into Total War Warhammer 3. So pretty exciting stuff. The map is just massive. There's so many factions and leaders competing in any kind of game. It's really chaotic, and you're just trying to like build up. You're trying to squirrel away your little part of the map and then slowly build up your empire over time. Pretty exciting stuff. So very kind of really interesting to watch. Very impressive to kind of see what they've been able to do with the Total War series over the past 3 titles, and now bring it all to fruition in this kind of massive way you can play. There's also different ways that you can beat the game, which is one of the criticisms of the base Total War Warhammer 3 was just the way to beat the game was very difficult and time consuming. But now there's multiple different ways that you can kind of branch out and you can find your own way to victory. So pretty interesting stuff there. I'm excited to play more. I'm playing more later tonight. Multiverses is a pretty big deal. It's already reached 20 million downloads, so pretty impressive stuff there. And then according to NPD, it was also the biggest revenue generating title last month, knocking Elden Ring off of its perch. I don't know that necessarily means anything, and the revenue generated from it isn't from like game sales, but a lot of people are buying in with founders packs, it seems, and that was enough to kind of knock Elden Ring off its perch. So pretty excited to see the success of Multiverses, especially in lieu of all that's going on elsewhere within Warner Brothers and Discovery. So yeah, I like calling out the successes for Multiverses because yeah, I really like them. I really like what's going on there. In a pretty bold move, the console that you can't really get your hands on is increasing in price. So I know that there's still supply constraints around the PlayStation 5. And Sony has decided to increase the price in everywhere besides the US, which seems like a little bit of preferential treatment, which I don't quite understand. But yeah, so for all of you who can't get the PlayStation 5 where you are outside of the US, the price for it has increased, which, that's a really, really weird strategy. I don't think we're quite, in the mid-cycle where you're going to do something bold, and usually something bold is like cutting $100 off your price tag. But PlayStation is increasing in price, so we'll have to see what this does for them. But I mean, every one that goes out probably sells, so it's a good way to squeeze a little bit more money out of your consumers. But with all the talk about not having a lot of exclusives and them coming to PC anyway, maybe people are just gonna get the new graphics card and build a better PC. I think there was some justification in the articles I read about chipsets being more expensive because of the state of the world, and maybe that's it. I don't know if this is just a temporary upgrade in price, but yeah, it just really seems like usually you want to eat those losses so you can get more customers, but that's not what Sony's deciding to do. So we'll see. Also confirmed at the opening night live was Jeff Keighley's next event, the Game Awards, the one he's known for, got its official date. So we now know that the Game Awards will happen on, we could probably have guessed, but it's now going to happen on December 8th. So it's usually like the second Thursday of the month in December. So you probably could have guessed when it was, but we got official date for it. So it's a big deal in my household. I always do, among friends and coworkers, I always do a who can guess who the winner is better than me, and like we compete for a $50 Amazon gift card. So pretty big deal in my household. I watch it every year. Got my wife in on it. Now we got our son in on it. So yeah, really excited to watch through it. I enjoy the show and the announcements. It's kind of the last time of the year that we can get some of the game announcements, potentially for games that are coming out in the first half of next year. So I love it for the announcements. I love watching the awards. I love award shows. As someone who grew up in an Academy Award house where we kind of watch those every year. So like everyone knows, it's kind of the Academy Awards for games. So I enjoy watching it for many reasons, and I'm looking forward to watching it on December 8th. Looking forward to that. Hopefully you got your pre-order in. The pre-orders for Hogwarts Legacy started this week, and I tried looking for it at first, and I didn't really see it until it was too late. There's a collector's edition for Hogwarts Legacy for $300. You get the game and a nice case, like you would expect, a steelbook, and it comes with a plug-in book that generates a magnet that your wand sits on, and the wand kind of rotates around, which is really cool. It kind of like kind of floats a little bit, so pretty cool shelf. Something to put on your shelf, and something I was looking forward to purchasing. I even reached out to a couple friends when I knew pre-orders were coming around, and the articles I read didn't say anything about the collector's edition. So maybe it was a surprise, and that surprise caught me off guard, and I haven't been able to purchase one. So hopefully we get like a second round attempt at it between now and when it launches in February. But for now, I'll just have to wait to see when collector's editions for it comes back up, because I was really looking forward to purchasing one. I wasn't able to do it. So if you were, tell me how excited you are about it down in the comments. We got a HBO commercial kind of recap video where HBO is talking about kind of its next season of shows. And at the end of it, we got to see about 30 seconds of the Last of Us TV show. So that's got a lot of people very excited. I'm excited to see Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey as Joel and Ellie. We didn't get to see any of the clickers, so I was really looking forward to. We had like a brief flash of it, but I hope that the effects look really good, because I'm really excited to kind of see a clicker in kind of real life. So very much looking forward to that, and when the Last of Us TV show. Last but not least, this week, it has been 15 years since my favorite game of all time has launched. A lot of articles this week that I was reading was talking about the 15-year anniversary for BioShock. It was kind of nice for BioShock to be integrated into the gaming space for a week. I got to read a lot of articles about impressions that the original game made, and even BioShock Infinite on some of the press out there. So it was just really exciting stuff to see. I think some people were expecting maybe a next-gen version of the BioShock collection, or another remaster or something like that, with ray tracing coming out of Opening Night Live or Gamescom, but we didn't get that. But it was just really exciting to kind of see one of my favorite games get talked about again. So I was very excited about that. I hope you are too. And it's my favorite game of all time. So it was really nice to kind of read articles and kind of remember that it's been around that long, which is over half my life ago. I'm just really kind of excited for kind of reminding me that I bought the BioShock collection, but I never played through it. So maybe I got to go back and try that out now that the nostalgia berries have got their hold in me. That's all for this week. If you feel I've forgotten anything, feel free to leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. And I hope you have a super day. Bye! Special note for anybody who stayed past the end credits, I guess, or end roll. This will be my last games report for 2 weeks. I'll be at PAX next week, so anybody who's in the Seattle area, feel free to reach out to me. Hoping to meet up with some coworkers or ex-coworkers while I'm up there. And then the following week I'll be in Denver visiting a friend. So it'll be a little bit. You'll still get the emails for anybody who gets the emails for this, but otherwise, no video for the next 2 weeks. Looking forward to catching back up with you all in 3 weeks. But bye again.